Every morning I'm awoken by the sunrise cutting through my paper-thin curtains, and I always make the same irritated grunt when it does. See, waking up to day-to-day life isn't the most thrilling of experiences for me. I'm just an average guy with an average crappy apartment and an average boring office job. I sit in a cubicle and sort through paperwork all damn day. Sure, the pay isn't half bad, but I kinda wish there was more to it than that. Don't we all, I guess? I think all the movies and books that show the high life, the Instagram model types with the most expensive cars, latest custom iPhone, and a wardrobe that has more value than my entire assets combined, jet-setting across the world and getting pissed in the swankiest of bars with the hottest of people, isn't really what people need to be happy. Sometimes it's just the regular things: average apartments, average jobs, average relationships. I think that's what counts. Except I'm kinda lacking in the average relationship front. I'm not ugly by any means, and while my job is definitely a topic that could send women straight to sleep, I can keep up a conversation that is engaging enough to be worth sticking around to learn more about for. I've had my issues and I've been a dick in the past, and I'll be man enough to admit it, but I've also had my fair share of cheaters and liars. I want someone safe, someone comfortable, someone average. Tinder is probably not the best place to search for these women, I know. I've heard the stories of catfishing, scams, and hookup-only deals. I just find it easy to use, and I'll be honest, I've met some pretty nice girls on there, and I've been out a few times. We'll go out for a meal and talk. They've all had sharp minds and quirky acquired interests. I guess I have a type. And then we'd get on like a house on fire. Then I'd ask if they want to head back to mine and have a glass of wine. And yes, really, a glass of wine. I'm not that sort of guy. So we'd go back to mine and continue our conversation on my sofa, and we'd sip our drinks, and then that would happen. They'd make a comment that reminds me of my mother or something, and I'd have to cut it short. Maybe I'm just too picky, who knows. My last date, for example, was super promising. Her name was Amy, a gorgeous girl. She had long, wavy ginger hair and bright blue eyes. A girly girl who didn't mind kicking back and watching the footy. Shared interests are important, obviously, and this really appealed to me. We talked for about a day or two before she asked to go out to dinner. I was surprised, but kind of relieved it took the pressure off of me. So, a couple of Fridays ago, after I got off work, I took a shower, shaved, and pleaded that she actually liked the dumb cologne my cousin got me for Christmas last year. My smart but not too smart shirt had been ironed that morning. I always arrived 10 minutes before we agreed to meet, mostly because of nerves, and I waited outside the tapas restaurant. Was it stupid to be that anxious about a girl I'd only talked to for a couple of days? Probably. Anyway, she turns up looking stunning. She's got this cute turquoise bodycon number on that comes down to her knees and shows off an amazing figure. And I was fairly sure that if she didn't say hi first as she walked up to me, then I would have been stood there staring at her for the foreseeable future. We shake hands and take our seats. Amy was bubbly and cheeky, I'll say that. She knew exactly when a flirty joke should be told. The banter was so much fun, and as we ate our food, I don't think we had a single moment of silence, and as dumb as it is, I was already planning our next date in my head. She talked about seeing our local ice hockey team play a game, which would have been this week, and I've never really watched ice hockey, but it sounded like a good time. The waiter had to cough to ask us if we wanted the bill after he had been stood there for a few minutes, because we hadn't noticed him because we were talking so much. Rising from the table, I cleared my throat, knowing what I was gonna ask. Do you, want to grab a drink at mine? Maybe? Amy chuckled and raised an eyebrow. I didn't peg you for a on-the-first date kind of guy. I shook my head in embarrassment. No, really, just a drink. She smiled, appearing endeared by the fact my face must have been a bright red. She nodded and linked her fingers into mine. Just a drink. Even as we sat down on the sofa, as I had many times before with many other girls before, I was quietly hopeful. There wasn't anything about Amy I objected to, and it seemed like there was nothing about me that she objected to. We again chatted and laughed and poured drinks together. The bottle of wine went down, 3/4, half full, a quarter full, but almost finished the bottle and nothing bad or off-putting had happened. I was thanking my lucky stars that she had swiped on me in the right direction. Finally, the night was coming to a close. The early hours were drawing in and we'd finished the bottle. Amy was tipsy, but not drunk. She could hold her alcohol for sure. Amy said she'd just hail for a taxi outside and assured me she could make her own way out of my block. Knowing that a chance was before me, as soon as she got up, I took it. So, are you free next weekend? It'd be nice to do this again. Amy smiled. Yeah, I'd really like that. You've been a fun guy. I had a great time and I like to be transparent, and I will. I don't remember exactly what she said or how she said it, but when she did, my heart sank down from my chest and all the way down to the foundation of my apartment building. I was kicking myself. How could this happen? Yet again. So I ended the day much like I end all of my dates. I had to put my clothes in the laundry pile, of course. It's not like I can wander around with blood splattered over them. Looks like I'll have to get more bleach from the supermarket. Spoiler alert, slitting throats leaves a massive mess, and it's a hassle. And yes, I washed the knife before setting it back in the block in the kitchen. Amy would just have to stay in the spare room with the others until morning. I can't believe this. It always happens. They always do this. I hate it when they remind me of my mother.